you're not going to hear yourselves.
We won't hear ourselves. Oh, okay.
You don't hear yourself. You should be 100%.
Okay, he says we won't hear ourselves.
He says we're not hear ourselves.
Yeah, great. Please check. Please again.
You're saying, please again.
Yeah, I think head is lower. See, okay. Is it fine now? Please again.
Please again.
Yeah, but it's high. That's good. It's high. It's high now. Yeah. Okay, please check again. And again.
Please check again.
High. It's good. High. It's good. It's high. Come down. Thank you. Okay. Come on the last side. One side.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, that's good. Yes.
Hello?
Next question. Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, it's okay.
Hello?
No, it's low. Okay. Please check.
Hi.
Yeah, it's okay now. Hello. No, it's not coming. Hello. Which one? The one. Okay, please check it. Hello. It's low. Why is it too short? Okay, so you think I should drop it? Sorry. Like this? That means you know how to.
Okay.
Please try again.
Hello.
Where is it going?
Hello.
It's high. It's high. It's high. Yeah. Please check again. Please check again.
Hello.
Yeah, it's high.
Hello.
And still bring it down. Yeah, bring it down, yeah. Please check again.
Hello.
Yeah, it's okay. Okay. It's here. That's what I'm saying. Sit here. Just sit here. Okay, so you tested all right.
Yes. So, Daniel, how would you be sharing the Good evening from Accra, the capital city of Ghana. My name is Lindaya Ampa, and I welcome you to the STN Ladies Roundtable. Yes, we don't have a round table, but we see a round table. You're very, very welcome from wherever you are. We thank you for joining us. STN, just a bit of background of who we are. The Stanford Seed Transformation Network is a network of participants who have completed the Stanford Seed Transformation Program. SEED is a Stanford Graduate School of Business-led initiative established in 2016. The global communities of Seed Transformation Program past participants constitute the Seed Transformation Network. The network operates active chapters in West, East, Southern Africa, and India. The network offers members a way to harness the power of the global seed community by connecting online, in person, or at events with other like-minded business leaders whose industries or interests align with their own. In a nutshell, we are a group of entrepreneurs transforming our businesses and helping to alleviate poverty in the communities within which we operate. Welcome. This evening's roundtable, as we call it, is to share ideas with our viewers. For the ladies here, a lot of us have journeyed through different phases of life on our entrepreneurial journey, and we thought that we share some of our ideas with you. A lot of us engage on different forums, and we hear a lot of questions about how we go about issues related to women and how we balance work with family life and so on and so forth. So joining me here this evening is our beautiful ladies. First, Georgette Barnes. She's the Executive Director of Georgette Barnes Limited. Beautiful lady, you're welcome.
Happy to be here.
Thank you. We have Felicia Chumesi. She's the CEO of Home Foods. Madam Felicia, you're welcome. We also have Jemima Nate. She's the CEO of Happy Kids School. Jemima, you're welcome.
Thank you.
And last and certainly not the least, we have Stephanie Asma. She's the Director HR for Type Company Limited. Stephanie, you're welcome. I call her Ife. We'd like to thank Villa Monticello for giving us their space to have this forum. It is a boutique hotel, beautiful, I might add. I would like to invite you to visit Villa Monticello website. If you're having any events, this is a place to come. If you're coming for a weekend or you're on vacation or coming on business to Ghana, this is the place to be. Thank you, Villa Monticello, and thank you, listeners and viewers, for joining us this evening. We'll take a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll set the ball rolling. Welcome back. We celebrated Women's Day this month, and we thought the theme that we celebrated the day with was breaking the bias. So our theme for this evening is basically the same: the entrepreneur, the woman entrepreneur. So basically the challenges we face, what has worked for us, what hasn't worked for us. This is what we're going to talk about. We asked you during registration to send us questions. So we have put together the questions that you sent, and we're going to take them one after the other. So I read it out, and then the ladies will contribute and give their opinion on the various questions you have asked. So the first one is this: how do women navigate power structures early in our career versus later in your business career? How do women navigate power structures early in your career versus later in your business career? I think I'll start with the one closest to me, Georgette, if you can take that.
Okay. I'm trying to understand the question, but basically, when you're starting work, there's a hierarchy that you find yourself in, and it's important that once you have the offer to start work, you familiarize yourself with where you have to be, who the reporting lines, and so I find that when you are starting work, sometimes we are a bit hesitant, a bit afraid, but you have to master the hierarchy, and you have to know who you are reporting to when you have issues, where you have to go to. Try not to skip them, because, if it's a business, there's a reason why they've drawn that hierarchy for you. And, we are talking about breaking the bias. So you have to be bold in reporting to who you need to report to. I think that when you come to business as well, because the first part of my question was trying to answer as in the where you are an employee, but when you come to business as well, there is so much power that you have to familiarize yourself with in terms of your customer base, your supplier, it's a whole how do I say it, a whole web that we have to master. So I think that the first thing is have the knowledge, have the information, know who and when and where. I think I'll leave it at that.
All right. Thank you, Georgette. Felicia, would you like to add to that?
I think she should do it, because I don't understand the question very well. Are we talking about corporate or talking about business or entrepreneurship, or they're getting into as an employee? It becomes a bit difficult to answer this question, because when you are given a contract to work in a company, definitely you have the reporting lines. And irrespective if the person is a man or a woman, I think you should go by the rules of the company. Because as a woman, a lot of us do not have confidence in ourselves when we come into the environment where we have a lot of men. Sometimes it can be negative, sometimes it can be overly positive. Some women can be, how do I put it? They fight, because they have the mindset that men are dominant, so they are the people ruling them. So some of them, actually, I have some in my company, they come actually fighting the men without respecting the men. So as a woman, when you get into a company, I think there are rules, irrespective whether your boss is a woman or a man. You have to go according to the rules of the company. Talking about career, your career, why did you come in to be engaged as an employee in that particular company? Are you there for just to earn money at the end of the month? Or are you there to... Most of us join companies, become just for the sake of money, especially those of us who are married. Think the man has to take over whatever in the house. So some of them come in without even thinking about developing their career. And to me, most of the things that happen to women, most of the 100% are our fault. Because we come into these structures and some of us think we should fight, or we should see ourselves as very, very inferior to other men who are around. And it doesn't really help us in building our own careers. Apart from that, I think women are very, very intelligent, but most of us are subconsciously, we don't even know that we are very intelligent. So I think a woman or woman can easily fit into any power structure if we can easily fit into all these power structures if we make up our mind and have a very right mindset in that environment. I think that is what I can say.
I can agree. I can agree with that, because I think that we, in our minds, we've created the biases already.
Yeah.
So you come in with preconceived ideas about this boss is a woman, she's like that, or this boss is a man, she's like that, or he's like that, and therefore you come with your plan all worked out. So of course it becomes difficult. But yes, if we come in with an open mind, be the best you can, and you're working, I don't see why structure should be a problem. You should be able to follow structure and order in whatever organization you find yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think some of us fight for nothing.
Yes.
And then we talk about what is that jargon? Is it women's superiority or something like that? You know, already we are in charge, but most of us don't know. You know, so we fight for nothing. So I agree with what Linda is saying. So I think we should have a different mindset and know that we can fit into any structure.
Yeah. Thank you, Felicia. Jemima?
Yes. I think I agree with everything that has been said, but I want to take it from the later in your business career. Because I believe that once you get into the business, there's a structure, you follow the structure, gradually you get to the top. The question is, how are you also going to help other women get to the top? That's the way I see it as, later in your business career. Because at the end of the day, the whole idea is to help the organization or the business have women who are able to navigate through these power structures. And since you have been there for quite some time, you've gained all the experience and all that, of course, you should be able to help other women, guide them, let them understand that all these things negatively that has been talked about doesn't really exist. It's most of the times exists only in the mind. So I think that later in your business career, you should become more of a mentor, guide other ladies to get to the top.
Thank you, Jemima. Stephanie?
Yeah. Thank you very much. I think that when you come into it as a lady, into an organization, find out the instruments in the organization that will help you
Stephanie,
fight
your microphone.
Sorry. So when you come into an organization, as a lady, you find out that there are men in the position, men in the organization who have the power. Find out the instruments available to you or at your disposal. If I say instruments like if there's any training, find out. Get yourself into the training. If there are projects, volunteer to be in the project. If there are proposals to write, volunteer, do that. Get yourself involved. And in this way, I believe you will be able to navigate yourself through the power structures before you realize you are at the top. Not fighting, not being aggressive, but just take those instruments subtly before the men realize you are at the top. Yeah.
I agree. And of course, if you're doing it right, it will be obvious to everybody that you are capable. So it's difficult to bypass you for any promotion. Yeah. Thank you, ladies. I hope that we've answered your question as you expected. It wasn't quite clear, but I think we the ladies did justice to it. Yeah, it was a bit, yeah. So I think
Life is full of choices. So if you think you're going to grow your career, I think you should be able to, not the word navigate, but you should be able to fit into the structure there, recognize the powers that be, the reporting system, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. All right, so we take the next question. How do women entrepreneurs foster a positive work environment and encourage creativity among their team members? How do women entrepreneurs foster a positive work environment and encourage creativity among their team members? Stephanie, I think I'll begin with you this time.
Okay. I think, first of all, to foster creativity, you should, as the leader, you should make the plan clear to your team and delegate appropriate duties or tasks to your team. Make it clear to them. In this way, you help them also think through about what they have to do to make whatever we are doing successful. It has to be, it shouldn't be so ambiguous for your team members not to know what to do and how to do it. And also help them, if they are facing difficulties, you help them through it. I think that's about.
Okay, Jemima, what would you add to that?
Okay, so I think another way to do it is also to find out exactly what they are capable of doing without, messing around. Because with my own experience, I realized that there are those who would love to write, just to write. If there's something happening, put up a report. There are others who'd want to, plan the whole event, and so on and so forth. So, apart from clarity, you should also first find out where they exactly would shine. And once you're able to get that, and you are also able to have clarity with everything that you ask them to do, I guess the best things will come out of all the projects and other things that you want to do. So that's what I think.
Okay. Georgette.
I was going to not answer that one.
Why is that?
I think Steph and Jemima have
done justice to it.
Yes, they've done. The only thing I would like to add is that also having, as a leader, having an open door, not open door, but open attitude, easy for people to come up with ideas, knowing that there will be no repercussions, like whether you shoot the idea down. Yes, so that's the only different thing that I can add.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Felicia, do you have something to add?
Yes, just like three of my ladies have already said, I believe that you should be able to identify each other's strengths and weaknesses when it comes to this environment. For example, I'll give my company as an example. I found the strengths and weaknesses of individual employees. So what we normally do is to form a group, and that group will particularly be working on a particular project. Like in the food business, we have a QA manager, a QA consultant. But what about the employees? So we have a QC club. Then, interestingly, we realized that there are a lot of things that they know that even the consultant didn't know, because they are on the shop floor. So it's very, very important you identify the strengths and weaknesses of each employee that you have and create that environment. Some of them are very creative, but they cannot even put it on paper like Jemima is saying. They just do it verbally. Then you have other people who can also write what they are saying. There are some of them who are even smarter, excuse my French, than even the boss. The sort of things that they will come up with. And when you create that environment, you foster a lot of confidence in them. And for the better word, with these WhatsApp groups, we form WhatsApp groups, so they communicate a lot. Even Sundays, they are communicating. We've done this, we've done that, we've done that. So in that way, they will have that sense of belonging. They become part of the company. And then you have to set up some motivation kind of, plans for them. Reward systems for them. Yeah. And it's doing very fine. So in that, sometimes you realize that some of them are very calculated risk takers, which I became a bit surprised. So when you do that, you actually foster that positive work environment that we're talking about, they are not supposed to work on Saturdays. They are not supposed to work on Sundays. But when there's an order and they know they have to ship, they send messages around that, what do you think? Oh, we can do this, we can do that. And when you bring everybody together, whether the person is a security man, the security man is involved. The security man is involved. He knows they are coming to work. He will check everybody. He knows that before you come to work on Saturday or Sunday, you should have a letter. And all these things foster this positive environment that really make people come out with what they can do.
All right, thank you very much. So I agree with all the contributions. Really, I think that rewarding innovation and creativity, it also gives them a sense of belonging. It makes them feel like they're part of the organization, and it's important. And I think when you do that, the results are clear. You know, when somebody feels that they belong and we value them, their commitment level is something else altogether. Thank you very much. We'll end this round with a short commercial break, and then we'll come back and continue with your questions. Thank you.
Happy Kids School is an inclusive leading basic educational institution in Ghana. With our motto of unity and hard work, we provide a conducive learning environment for children through creativity, practice, discipline, and quality teaching methods. Our learners continue to grow into confident and dynamic leaders for the 21st century. We leverage culturally and environmentally relevant material to ensure the academic and moral growth of our learners. Located in Accra and Dawina, our school is a community of care and quality education.
Come back. Before we delve into our next set of questions, I'd like the ladies to tell you, our viewers, what exactly they do and for how long they've done it. So it will make you appreciate their answers better. We'll start with Stephanie.
Okay. I work with Type Company. We print, and the best print in Ghana.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. We started about almost 29 years ago. Very small. And what you see out there is from 29 years experience. I developed myself throughout the 29 years. I developed myself in education, learning, so many things in business. I struggled to do it or to learn myself. And later on, I tried to read about other women who have made it in that sector, in leadership sector, leadership position. I tried to read about them and tried to take some kind of inspiration from them, and that helped me. I'm in charge of HR there, but because I'm a director, I also see to the supervision of other departments. Thank you.
Okay, we'll do Jemima. Thank you.
Good. So I'm Jemima Nate, and an educator by profession. 29 years ago, I started a school, not really as a business, but to help my daughter, who was a baby at that time, and a few other neighbors' children who they left with me when parents had to go home. But then gradually it turned out to be a very big school. I must say that for a teacher to start a school, it meant that the only thing I knew was to teach. But during this period, I've been able to learn a lot, listened a lot, read a lot, and I'm happy to say that I think that I'm good at managing. And so out of that little, I would say, necessity by trying to take care of my child, I've been able to go through more than just teaching, management, event planning, and everything that helps to make the school a better one. I'm happy to say that 29 years has not gone down the drain. It's been very good, and I'm very proud of Happy Kids School. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll take the other ladies after our next break. But what I'm hearing you two say, you didn't start your big business knowing everything. You learned on the job. But you knew that you needed to equip yourself to be able to do a better job at running the business. That's very good information. A lot of you out there, you might have had opportunity to get all the education before you enter business. Good for you. So then you don't struggle as much as some of us have, because you have the benefit of education, you have the benefit of some of these ladies and many others sharing their stories with you. So you're blessed. We'll take the next set of questions. How do women transcend gender bias in office and in the business and ensure upward corporate mobility? How do women transcend gender bias in office and in business and ensure upward corporate mobility? Felicia.
These questions are a bit
I know.
loaded.
Essay question, eh?
Yeah,
Some are PhD questions.
they are very loaded with all the big words and all that. The woman transcend gender bias
and all that. English.
So I will say that, you should believe in yourself. You should know what you want. Life is made up of choices. Some of the choices we don't make ourselves, like who gives birth to you. But we always made the choices how to live our lives. So quite difficult question, eh? Mm-hmm. The bias in office. How do you experience bias in office? I think it will be a state of the mind. If you go into an office, you're working as an employee and you believe in yourself. Because I believe that in life, to be successful in any sphere of your life is more than a principle of serendipity, because you have to prepare yourself to be lucky. You don't just go in and pick things up and say you are lucky. So before you can transcend this gender bias, you have to have a very good state of mind, believe in yourself, have confidence, and I think you will survive.
Well put. Georgette.
Interesting question. It's the question of my life. When you work in a male-dominated sector, and you don't find a lot of women, I think that question becomes very pertinent. I started working in the mining industry in 94, 95, and for a long time I didn't realize that I was in a minority. But having come from a girls' school to and then it started dawning on me that where are my classmates? I had been used to so many girls around me, and then later I found that a lot of the time when I accompanied my bosses on trips, we visited certain countries, and we would go for meetings. More and more, I realized that I either was the only female. If there were other females, they're probably white females. And so later on, I started asking questions. Then I realized that this was a sector that traditionally was for men. And so in a sector like that, you keep wondering, what can I do? But then you find out that it is not something that is your strength. It's not something that you can do, because it's something that is quite particular within that sector and has gone on for years. And there are actual social cultural beliefs in there that prevents women from even going into the sector. And so I agree with Felicia. You have to be confident, but you have to also seek support, because it is not something that you can just overcome. There are biases in the sector. Some are conscious, some are unconscious. And what is happening in this male-dominated industry now is that it has become so prevalent. It's global, and so now companies are actually developing what we are calling diversity and inclusion policies. And so you have to read up and realize that there is actually some knowledge and there's some research that you have to equip yourself with to be able to survive. I find that sometimes some women then tend to act like the boys. But from my personal experience, I like to be myself. Because if you decide that, yes, to be liked and to survive, you are going to be like the boys, you can't pretend for a long time. So you have to be yourself. You have to be confident in what you do. You have to improve, what you, your knowledge, and just keep pushing, because you realize that because you are in the minority, there are a lot of eyes on you. People sometimes say that, oh, yeah, the women are lazy. That's why, they are not coming into the industry. And I say that, no, we are not lazy. We are in the minority. So if there is one woman who is not pulling her weight, then everybody is saying it to us. But you find lots of men there walking around, because there are so many of them, if there are any weaknesses, you get away with it. But it's because we are in the minority. That is why, if one person is not pulling the weight, then people say that it's so conspicuous. So I think that it depends. Sometimes it depends on your industry. If you're in industry that is field based and quite secluded from mainstream industry, the gender bias is something that is your everyday life, and you really have to keep it in mind, and you have to push and push forward.
I agree totally. So would you say that if you find yourself in an environment where maybe it's male dominated, everything seems to be against you, and you're probably the only one there, it means that you also have to go the extra mile to make it possible for another woman to come on board?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes.
Unfortunately, yes. And for my personal story, what I did was I started a group called Women in Mining, because I realized that we had to pull forces together. So we have to pull forces together, and we have to champion our cause, because in the sector there are so many beautiful things that courageous women, engineers, some are driving haul trucks, excavators. They are doing great things. They are doing great things, and it shows that girls can do it. Girls, women, we can do it, but there are not enough of us.
Yes.
And the sad thing is, sometimes I do community outreaches, and I have parents who walk up to me and say, please don't encourage my daughter to work in the mine.
Oh.
And that is where I say there are some things that are sociocultural. They are sociocultural because they believe that if their girl child works in the mining sector, oh, she won't get a husband. She'll become male. Nobody will want to marry my daughter. I want my daughter to be a nurse. And one thing that I have found out about that as well is that and even some of the young girls, when you speak to them, what do you want? It's a question I usually will ask if I'm in the community. And you will ask, when you grow up, what do you want to be? A teacher, nurse. You are not even getting them to say, I want to be a doctor. most of them want to be nurses. And then I thought about it and I realized that there is a question of visibility. In the community, they see the nurses dressed in their uniforms and going to work. So as a young girl growing up, you get that sense that I am, that's what a girl, that's one of the things I can aspire to. So when you go on social media now, Women in Mining, we try to share more pictures of engineers. We share pictures because we want to encourage the young ones coming up, because we have to. Ghana is 51% female.
Yes.
Ghana is the third producer of gold. So why?
Why?
Who is wearing the gold anyway?
Yes. Hello.
So gender bias is real. It's real. It's there, and it's not that somebody. It's unconscious it's that not that maybe the men don't want you to come, but they are used to it. They are used to it, but things are changing. A lot has improved in the formal mining sector right now. We have about 13% of the workforce is female now.
Okay, coming up.
Yes, coming up. I mean, yes, I think in 2016 we were about 7%, and now we are 13%. Of course, some of
a long way to go.
Some of the companies are aiming for 50%, and they actually have plans laid out on how to get that 50%. But I want to encourage more young girls because we don't have the pipeline of the talent. The female talent is not enough. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Sorry, I think I've taken the conversation.
But it's good. We needed to hear, especially because of the sector you're coming from. It affects you. Yes.
We get it. Yeah, and there are male champions supporting us. We have the Chamber of Mines, the Minerals Commission supporting this agenda. Yeah.
Thank you. That's good to know. Stephanie, would you add on to that?
Yeah, she mentioned unconscious bias. So I think that we should pay particular attention to that because it's very subtle. When decisions are being made, the bias is not explicit. So
Yes.
you can't even notice it. So we should pay particular attention to this subtle unconscious bias so that we can go beyond this bias in the office and business sector. We should be very conscious.
Yeah.
It clouds our decisions, even at interviews for certain positions.
Yes.
It clouds it, but you don't even realize it that you are being biased because of what society has made us believe and all that. So we should really be deliberate about this unconscious bias.
Would you agree with me if I say that we can break the bias without necessarily fighting?
Yes. Yes.
If you
by
understand,
proving yourself.
Exactly.
By proving yourself all the time.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you don't need to fight.
Yes.
Prove yourself. Make your point. Get results. When you prove your point, or you bring up points, or you bring up a project that you want to lead the project, get results. In this way, you shake off the bias.
Yes.
Yes. Because everybody sees the result.
Exactly.
So you shake off that bias.
Yes.
Yeah.
So be on top of your game.
Yeah.
I think that is on the personal level. But when the issue is really grand, is really on a big scale, it's not just personal.
As simple as that.
It's not as simple as that. So like now we encourage companies to even write on the job advert, females encouraged to apply.
I see.
Because females will see job offer, mining engineer, they think that it's a man. So they will not even apply.
I see.
They will not even apply.
I see.
And
But
they don't know themselves that they are being biased.
That's right.
Very
Yes.
unconscious.
Yes.
They don't know. The female, we don't know.
Yes.
The society we live in, you are born, you go to school, you crawl, then the next one is marriage. So,
That's it.
that's it, so it's a society, because even your sector is very interesting. And for me, I really admire you for being in that sector because it's very, very difficult. Even in the food sector, it's very, very difficult. Because here you have big guys, you know, they are big. And you go to meetings, you find yourself, you are the only woman. And the faces, the demeanor is like, what are you doing here? You know? No, you don't even have to tell them, what are you doing here? And sometimes you have to be smart. Georgette, in your industry, you have to be smart. Let them know they are smarter than you. You have confidence. And then, for me, I don't even talk. I wait till they talk, because a lot of men would like to express themselves. And they have the idea that we are not smart, but I'm telling you, we are smarter than them.
I like that. Yeah.
Because, you know, God just re-engineered us from them, you know, so we are very smart. So I think you should be able to have the confidence is very, very important, and believing in yourself. Like what Stephanie said, sometimes it's very you're not even conscious of it, you know, because I'm just realizing that, you come in to pump all the oil up, and I will never choose a woman. I'm just realizing it. I would choose a man, because I think it's too difficult for a woman to do that job. So I think it's our fault, and I think we should be able to come out of it and ensure that, not compete with the men, but I think they are even ready to help us to get into the male-dominated industries.
Let me also add that we should also be able to identify men in the organizations who kind of understand us as women, because most of the times it's not everybody who looks at women as if they can't get it done. There are a few men out there who understand that women are capable of doing it, and so we should be able to identify them. And once we have identified them, we push this agenda of diversity and inclusion and all these little policies that can help, you know, make women feel comfortable in the various businesses that they work in. I think that is very important.
Let me just give you a joke. 2 months ago, I was going to Kumasi, and the weather was a bit bad. But when we took off, the man announced, the pilot announced, not knowing the woman was the captain, you know. So when we had a problem, the woman came on the phone and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, come and see the men in the plane." Everybody was shaking.
Because it was a woman.
Because it was a woman, you know. And she because when she said, she mentioned her name, and she said, all the men said, "Oh my goodness." And then the other captain started laughing. But she was the captain, and so she's 28 years old.
Oh, Lord.
So she went round and landed. And when we landed, come and see the men. So the bias is real. It's really real. It's really real.
Yes. But I think Georgette mentioned the champions, male champions within their sector, you know, who are championing this agenda. So it's good. Stephanie, wanted to add something? Okay. So at least we have some men in there. Maybe we need more men to champion this. Yes.
Because the thing is, it's not even just about seeing, science has proved women on the boards, they are making a difference on the bottom line. So it's a cash issue. Women in the workforce are bringing innovation. In the mining sector, safety standards are high. What happened? It was when women came into the sector that they started pushing for those safety standards. So it's a question of having a total, complete product by having all sorts of people on board to work. Even in our own, not the mining industry, but even in our own small businesses, we have to be conscious that we are all bringing different ideas. If you have too many men, the product is ending up in a certain way. If you have a good balance, the product gets better.
True. Very, very true. Very true. We'll take another commercial break, and then we'll come back and continue the conversation. It's getting richer, isn't it?
Yes.
All right. Welcome back. We would like to say a big thank you to Villa Monticello for giving us the space to bring you this. We're grateful. It's a boutique hotel, beautiful one at that, and we encourage you to visit anytime you're here in Ghana. And if you're already here, come over. You can have an event here. They have beautiful rooms, weddings. You want a getaway place, this is it. So you're welcome. We'll take the next question, but before that, I think most of you obviously know where Georgette Barnes is coming from. But let me give her the opportunity to tell us where she's coming from, a bit of her background and what she's doing now. Georgette.
Okay, so I currently run a mine support service company. I provide services for exploration and drilling companies in the mining sector. We operate out of Accra and Obuasi, and we have clients in West Africa. We are a very small company in the mining industry. You know, when you talk mining, you're talking big companies, but we are small, but we are there. We are not going anywhere.
That's right.
Yes, and I'm hoping, as I listen to my sisters say, 29 years. I started mine in 2009, but I had been working in the industry it's my 27th year in the industry, but I went on my own in 2009, and I'm looking up to my sisters that one day I can also sit here and say 29 years.
You're doing good already. Thank you, Georgette. Felicia.
Yes, I'm Felicia Chumesi. I'm in agro business. My company is 26 years old. It has been a long journey. We deal with a lot of women farmers. We have been able to grow our cooperative system from 5 women to over 5,000 women now. It's been a very difficult journey. But what it drives the company to get up every morning to come to the office and work with all the employees is affecting lives. Villages have changed into towns now. Farmers who were earning only 2,000 Ghana cedis those days are now into the 6 digits, and that makes especially me to get up in the morning and move. Interestingly, we realized that most of the farmers, 99% of the farmers, are women. In our traditional setup, men go to farm, they don't farm, it's the women who carry everything. But we've been able to bring in Ministry of Agriculture to the different locations where we have our cooperative system. And for the past 15 years, almost 90% of the farms have been mechanized. And we are very happy about that we are impacting the society. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You see, powerful women. Congratulations. I know the journey hasn't been easy. You're looking all fine and everything. I'm sure when we have an opportunity to share the stories, there'll be a lot of tissues rolling down. But we are thankful for how far you have all come. Congratulations. All right, so we have another question here. How important is it to have a mentor to grow as a woman leader? I think I'll start with Jemima. How important is it to have a mentor to grow as a woman leader?
Okay. So let me just take myself as an example. I started running my school, like I said, when I was, 28 years. So I was very young. And
give me my microphone. Sorry, thank you.
I was very young then, and I didn't know much about it because I had actually just taught about 3 years. But what I realized was that anytime I attended meeting of heads of founders of schools, there were the elderly ones who had a lot of experience. So then I thought that the best thing I could do was to introduce myself to one or two of them and start talking with them. And that helped me to get a mentor. That way, I didn't make a lot of mistakes like others may have done without a mentor. So I think that when it comes to business, as a woman, especially if you do not have the skills, I mean, because when it comes to entrepreneurship, out of passion, you'd want to do something. And so you would need somebody who will be able to guide you, somebody who will be able to tell you, like, look, it's not as bad as you think. Because, I mean, we all know that there are times that we really break down. You break down and you even cry. And you think that that's the end of the story. But then if you have a mentor who will guide you, let you know that this is just one of the steps. After this point, you may jump up, you may fall, but you may stand again. That really helps. So for me, it's very important that no matter what, find somebody you can trust. And that is important. Somebody you can trust. Somebody who you can call at any time of the day, even if it's at the night, and will listen to you. So I think it's very important to have a mentor.
Thank you, Jemima. I think another thing I would add is these days, I think mentorship has been taken to a different level altogether. So you're buying units for their phones, paying for rent, and so on and so forth. That is not the sort of mentorship we're talking about. So let's be mindful of that. When you are blessed to have a mentor, please let them mentor you in either your career or whatever, but not your financial mentor, if there's a word like that. Because a lot of us have gone through challenges like that, and it ends up very ugly. Yeah. Stephanie, you have something to add?
I got carried away about what you said, Okay. Interestingly, the Bible talks about mentorship, in the book of Titus 2. It talks about the older men and then the older women being in a certain position and then passing it on to the younger men and the younger women. And so it didn't limit it to parents. It was older men, older women passing it on. So it's like to every older man or woman out there trying to reach out to the younger men to mentor, or the younger women to mentor them in all aspects of their lives. I believe that the younger women or the younger men should also come up and be interested and ask. When you ask, the older, men or women take interest in you and ask about your interest, your career, and your plans, so that the mentorship can be done properly for you. I said that I started very young. I tried to educate myself through before I stepped into the formal education, also I'm in tertiary institution. I also said that I looked up for women entrepreneurs, read about them. I didn't necessarily have to go to them or call them. I read about them. I read about their successes, and I tried to follow them through what they have done to come up. So what you said about unity and all that, I'm amazed. So you can also choose your mentor through reading about them, their books and all that. When you read about them or you read their books, they are talking to you as well. They are mentoring as well. So I think that it is necessary, if you have to build your career, if you have to be a successful entrepreneur, yes, mentorship is a key. That's why the Bible even says it.
Yeah.
Yes,
I agree. Felicia?
Yes, having a mentor, I think, is very cardinal. For me, I didn't. And it was quite difficult because having graduated and getting into palm oil business, everybody was just bored with me. And it was very difficult. And later in my business journey, I realized that if I've had a mentor, I would have... I would have built a huge conglomerate by now because you think for yourself, you do everything by yourself, you take notes by yourself, And sometimes you carry on instinctively what your instinct tells you, and most of the time you might be wrong. So mentorship is very, very important. I think if the young ones are watching us, I think they are very lucky, and we are ready to mentor. For me, I didn't even realize that my whole life was business till 5 years ago, when I realized that I didn't have a life. But if I had a mentor, maybe to want of a better way, maybe I would have been able to navigate very well through the storms and come out. It has been a very rough journey. And sometimes when I go back home in my bedroom, I go like, wow, what did I do? But it has been done. And so mentorship is very, very important.
Yeah.
We need mentors.
Yeah. Georgette.
I think the consensus is that mentorship is key, and yes, some of us, the path that we took, it was difficult to find a blueprint to follow,
yeah.
and but what has helped me has been calling on sometimes even younger people. For me, younger people with the technical know-how, asking for advice. But one thing that I keep saying, and I heard Stephanie repeat it, it's about, the fact that you have read about Linda Amper, you don't necessarily have to see her physically for her to be your mentor. It's even easier now because you can follow her on social media. You can look up her videos and you can read her books. And it's a form of mentorship. For me, a lot of the people that I see in my, that I wish they were my mentors, I do not have access to them. And that's what I do. I look out. If they write anything on LinkedIn, you see me reading, you read it and you follow them. Mentorship does not necessarily have to be one-on-one. And it does not necessarily have to be an older person. At least that's what I have realized, And for me, where I am right now, I'm still in a tough place, so I'm waiting to reach their level. And so I on some WhatsApp pages, when people share things, I quickly read it up. And I follow some of you here. You don't even know it, but you are my inspiration. And I listen to your stories. I remember listening to Auntie Felicia's story one day, and that day I was so down. But when I heard the story, I said, wow, I haven't reached anywhere. So mentorship is key, and so look out for it. Mentors are all over the place. I've had the experience Linda is talking about. This send me units, my rent is up. So it makes mentoring nowadays a bit difficult,
Yeah.
Or maybe we have to develop some code of conduct.
Maybe.
But for you to benefit from a mentor, you have to make sure that it's a career mentor, it's a business mentor, and or it's a social life mentor. That's a different thing. But when you try to combine everybody, because everybody has their social issues. So yes, mentorship is good, but identify exactly what you want from the mentor. And a mentor is not your mother, is not your father.
Yeah. I agree with you. In my own business, when I started about 30 years ago, I didn't have a mentor either. I tried to seek counsel from some people that I thought could guide. It didn't work, So now there's a lot of literature. We're writing books. You go online, you find people there. As she said, even on social media. So you have a lot of information to work with. You just have to be disciplined enough to want to follow. Because if somebody gives you guidance and you don't follow, what's the point? So we all agree that it's important to have a mentor. We will take another. We might not be able to deal with all the questions because time will not allow us. We're supposed to close at 8:30. It's an hour and a half. But I think for some of the issues, we think that it's important for us to talk about. So we've used our own judgment to pick some of the questions out. There's one here that says, how do women manage resistance and bias when leading a team of men? I think Georgette has handled a bit of this question already, but maybe you, because it falls right in your domain.
Yeah, Linda, we've answered it all.
Yeah,
by proving yourself.
Yeah.
Proving yourself, sticking to, I have one of my mentees, and then she tells me, every time she's given instructions and she feels that the eyes are not on her face, the eyes are on her body.
Oh.
And it makes her feel uncomfortable. And, she keeps a straight face and she keeps it as technical as possible.
Yeah.
Technical as possible. This is what I said you should do. You did not take the samples the way I said you should do it. Please go back, take the samples. Why do we need the samples in this way? Blah, blah, blah. If you don't do it well, I'm going to ask you to do it again. And,
straight to the point.
Straight to the point.
Yeah.
Straight to the point. Yeah. Don't play around.
Yeah. And then you brought something in just now. The men focusing on the body rather than what you're saying. For me, because of my background on what I do, I think it's also important to mention the way we even carry ourselves. It's very important, especially if you are in a male-dominated organization or industry. The way you present yourself, the way you dress up, it all adds to the biases, because if you are going to stand in front of all these men who already, they've judged you even before you come and stand there, and you are looking a certain way, it doesn't also help. So I think we have to look at all of that as well. Maybe, hopefully, we'll be able to come back again next time to talk about how to package yourself for your industry or for your career. We'll take a short commercial break, and then we'll come back and continue. Thank you. I hope you're enjoying the conversation. Good afternoon. Jemima, so we have a conference coming up.
Yeah.
SSTN Ethics and Critical Thinking Workshop.
Exactly.
Why do you think this is important at this time? A lot of us run businesses and we know the challenges that we face. So I know why I need this, but what do you think? Why do you think people should come and pay to participate in this program?
Your success as an entrepreneur depends also on your staff members. And if the staff members do not understand the reasons why they need to be ethical, to be committed to whatever they do, to think critically, and of course to do practical reasoning, then you are completely at a loss. Because you see, as you sit at the top there, you may have all these things within you, but the question is, those who make things happen on the ground, are they getting it? If they don't have it, you just will not make it. And so I think that we've reached the point where we, as the leaders of the businesses, should not only acquire the knowledge and practice it, but also try to impact it on the others, let them have that knowledge, so that we are going to have a complete cycle of leaders, workers, even clients, to understand what it means to be ethical and committed.
In other words, into our vision.
Exactly.
We need to understand so that we are all aligned when it comes to the way we think, the way we want things to run in our businesses. So who should come to this conference?
Expecting that leaders of other businesses are invited, members of their staff, very important. And I would say that especially if you can have all your HR leaders, you can have other workers in the institution, at least if for nothing at all, get from 3 to 5 people to join this conference, because you would gain more than you're actually going to put in there. So I'm inviting everybody to join, very important.
Make sure that this year your business moves to another level through critical thinking and ethics and commitment. Thank you. So, Stanford Seed Ethics and Critical Thinking Workshop is happening on the 28th of April at Gimba. Register and attend. It will be good for you. Thank you. Uniforms. We also do fashion items as well. We are also the only company within West Africa that does pet products. So we do cat toys and we do dog mats. So that's what I do. And the company name is CAD Manufacturing Limited. And we've been in operation for 12 years. We have a sister company, Cuddling Fashions, that's over 30 years. And that's a fashion brand. We run that as well. So back to our forum. The next question is, how do women combine office and home duties and still maintain good health? That's a big one. How do women combine office and home duties and still maintain good health? We'll start with Stephanie.
How do women combine? It's planning.
Okay.
It's planning. You know your activities. You know your itinerary. You know what you have to do or what you have to do. So you plan. For home, when I was bringing up my children, I had support. So for women, you have to have support. If you want to rise or build your career, you have to have support. Spouse support, family support, and other external support as well. I had support. I was blessed to have a very long-standing support when I was bringing up my child in my house. And so that helped me through my education, working as well, and all that. Planning the home, cooking. I try to stand to cook a lot and put in the freezer. Thankfully, my husband likes food from the fridge or freezer. Thankfully.
We thank you.
So that helps me plan in that aspect. And also, when the home is done, then the office also begins. Meetings, going on training outside, traveling and all that. So it's all planning, you know. And when you are tired, see and check yourself that you are tired and rest. Take a rest. And also have social life as well. Have friends. Go out, chat, travel with your friends. I do that. And that keeps me in good health. And it keeps me sane as well. You know, there are times that I will leave my spouse, my children, and go around with my friends. I come back very refreshed. And my husband likes me that way because I come very refreshed and chat and lots of chats and all that. And there's happiness at home. And for us, we see ourselves in the office. And then we come to see ourselves in the house as well.
All right. So Stephanie works with her husband.
Yes,
sure.
I work with my husband. So we've done that 29 years. And we have been able to plan, I have been able to plan all that very well.
So has there been an occasion where there was tension because the balance just wasn't there?
Tension as in
your relationship with your husband, I mean.
There hasn't been any tension because he helps out.
Okay.
He supports a lot.
Okay.
So there hasn't been any tension that something has been left undone in the house, and so there's tension. No, he supports a lot. And that is my...
it's a blessing.
It's a very blessing, Mr. Asma. Very, a very blessing. Yes.
So
yes. So he supports a lot.
That's very good. I tell young women when I get an opportunity to speak with them that if you are not married yet, please have the road plan to your life. Whatever you want to do, please find a man who will buy into that vision, who will support you. Because if you know where you're going, then you know who would help you to get to that goal. Because otherwise, the choice of spouse would unmake you completely. Some women have ended their careers because of marriage. So it's very, if you are not married yet, before you get there, please be sure this person understands what you want to do in life. And if they'll buy into that, because otherwise it's a recipe for disaster. Jemima.
Okay.
We are ready to hear you.
Yes, so balance. I agree with what Stephanie just said. It is very important that you plan. Apart from planning, I will always say that you can't do everything all by yourself. Because if you run a business, obviously you wake up very early in the morning, go to work, come back. Sometimes you come back very late. And so, like she said, you need to find support. One thing about us entrepreneurs is that we feel we are champions. We're able to do everything. And that is what breaks us down. And so once you start running a business, try to start saving some money that can also help you to pay for the support that you need. Because even if it's a relative, you still have to give some allowances. It's very important. And what I also say is this: when you are tired, recognize that. Give yourself a break. If not, the business will break you down. And there's nothing else that you can do.
Yeah.
I also agree that you need to find some me time for yourself. Sometimes, I mean, there are times I just go and sit at the beach, just sit there, reflecting, just sitting there. If you've got very good friends you can go out with, please do that. I'm lucky I have a passion. It's a passion that, even though sometimes it's tough, it relaxes me. I do scouting and I love to do it. And so when I feel that I'm so much tired with my job, I'll move on to the kids. We laugh, we jump, we do everything that we want to do. What is most important is that plan your life, make sure that nothing, cripples the other. And that's where you'll be able to succeed. Yeah.
Thank you. Felicia, would you say that one can succeed at both levels?
Yeah, I think so. You can. The level of keeping a home and then being successful, it's very possible. The two ladies said planning. You've got to be passionate about what you do. Secondly, you should know that as a woman, you have to keep a home, irrespective of your business. Like they are saying, you need help, right? Fine. If you have a support at home. If you have support at home, and you don't manage your own home, you realize that somebody is managing your home for you, and by the time you could say, Jack, everything has gone waywire. You need to plan. It's very possible you can be very successful. I can use myself as an example. I am a single parent. I have 3 kids. And my mom used to tell me this, and I think my mom was right. And I'll say it in tree, that Obaya usu nimbatete. It's by sheer luck, but it's by grace. My children are very good. You can leave them, lock the house, go and come, they will be there. That doesn't mean that, you go to work and you forget about the home. I do have support, but normally I don't let them stay around me. They come and go. If you are very passionate about something, Linda, you can plan and then achieve them. Sometimes, as I said, when I come back home and then I look back and reflect, I'm surprised the sort of things that I have done without any spouse support. And excuse me, for all that I know, even if I had a spouse, it would have been very difficult to do those things. Because as you said, I started my journey before I got married. And then if you're not lucky and then you have a spouse who thinks you are too smart, you are going to have problems. And one of my faults or my weakness that I have is that I'm too strong a character. You cannot break me down. It was only when my mom died and I realized that was my weakness. Seriously, I cried and then I got sick for almost 4 months.
Oh.
But apart from that, as you are saying, asking this question, when you want to be successful, and that success is based on social life, having impact on the society, your environment, spill over on people's life, I think that one is very, very important. If you are getting into business and you think the business is for you to be successful for you and your children, I think that will be very difficult. Because you find yourself surround yourself with the right people who thinks without you, they cannot survive. So they are ready to help. But if you don't plan your life, like Jemima was saying, you should have time for yourself. For me, when I was deeply in business, very busy, I travel like crazy till the pandemic. Every Friday, I don't go to work. Home foods can burn. I have to get my massage because I have to prepare myself. I realize that I'm living for a lot of people. If I break down, a lot of people will go hungry. I have time for my hair. I have time for my nails and toes. Though I don't put artificial, but I have to go there. I have to go and do my facial, because you are an international person. So if you can balance that, it's very, very, very important. But some of us women, we let ourselves go. I go for walks every Saturdays. I go for swimming on Sunday evening. That is why I look good.
Yes, we realize that.
So you can balance the two. You can be successful. And what is success? If you are very successful by yourself. To me, it's not a success. You need to have the right people around you, affect life, affect society. Let people know that without this business, we wouldn't have survived. For example, my business, Adeso was a small village when I started business. Now Adeso is a town. And I can confidently say that 80% of that village became town because of home food. And that gives me so much joy. We have these women having their kids coming to work with us. So success, to me, it's not money, and then having everything, having all the cars that you want and all that. But I think if you can have a spillover to society, you can balance your life.
Yeah. Thank you, Georgette. Our time is fast spent, but can you give us a short...
I think that they've really answered the question. It's really, you have to, I think it's not prescribed. It depends on you yourself, the way you are. Some people, it's easy for them to do work life Some other people, some people do work-life balance. And so where this is work and this is my life, they separate it. And then there are others too who integrate. They do work-life integration. Because like me, if I know that there's something I have to do and I haven't done it, even if I've taken the day off, I get a bit jittery. So I've gotten to the point where if there's something I have to do, I don't mind sitting in front of my TV and just making sure that the customer is sorted. After that, then I relax. So you really have to find, I tried hey, I've come home, I'm not going to answer anybody, blah, 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 blah. But it wasn't me.
Okay.
And my industry too is not like that. My industry is like, respond. So I try to integrate and relax, work a little, relax, work a little. When it's possible, I take a break.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So everybody has to find their balance. Yes. And I support the spouse issue. Yes. Finding a partner who believes in you and who will support you and not draw you back is important. Yes. And the world is modern now. Take advantage of gadgets. Take advantage of, if you want to go to Home Foods and order for the weekend. So
why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Felicia. Yes. Of course, there are some women, that's their hobby, so that's okay.
Yes.
But if you can afford to eat out for a weekend or a week, why not? So you get a break.
Yes.
It's important. It's important. I think those days are past and gone, where they will say you're a bad wife because you didn't cook at home or something. I mean, it's okay every now and then to have something different in the house. So thank you so much, ladies. We'll have a short commercial break, and then we would invite the network manager for West Africa, Elikem Komi, to give us a short announcement. I'm sure many of you are wondering how you can be part of this network. So Ellie will tell us how you can be a part of this network. I mentioned earlier that you have to go through the Seed Transformation Program. That is what qualifies you to become a member of the network. And this is a program that is delivered by the Stanford Business School. So Ellie is going to tell you about it when she comes on. So see you shortly.
Successful businesses are built on great values and attitudes that include ethics and commitment, critical thinking and practical reasoning, honesty, accountability and integrity, and of course, building a positive mindset. And all these things one can acquire if one attends the Stanford Seed Ethics and Critical Thinking Workshop. I invite you to come not only with your leaders, but also with your staff members. It is very important that this year we all succeed in our businesses. Welcome to this workshop. Successful businesses are built.
Been joined by Elikem Komi, who is the network manager for West Africa. Whilst we're introduced there, we'll have to say a big hello to our seed community in Palo Alto. I'm sure maybe some of them have joined us. Darius, Davies, and the rest. Hello. So Ellie, you're welcome. Tell us what is happening.
Thank you very much, Linda. And then not forgetting your sister companies in East Africa, the rest of West Africa, Southern Africa, and then South Asia. So that's the big community of businesses we have. Thank you, Linda, for having me on the set with you. It feels very good as a young woman to be sitting amongst you big, should I say moguls? It's a rare opportunity. And the collaboration between Stanford Seed and the Stanford Seed Transformation Network globally is invaluable to us. As Linda mentioned, we are a big team. And the Stanford Seed Transformation Program is basically designed for CEOs and founders of established businesses. I like to normally say a little bit about that. It's established businesses who are looking to grow and scale their businesses. And in the Stanford Seed Transformation Program, you work with Stanford Graduate School of Business faculty experts with deep local knowledge, business knowledge, and then Stanford trained advisors who support you throughout the 11 months of your training and beyond. And as you can see, they've been mentioning the network. So beyond the 11 months, you do get to participate in the network where learning continues. And this is one of our platforms. I'm really proud to be part of the roundtable.
Thank you.
So to be part of the program, applications will go live online in a few days on April 1st and will go all the way through to June 1st. We would encourage you not to wait till the last minute, because sometimes getting it in early means that you get to write actually what you want. But when you do it last minute, you have challenges with, did I put in the right information, and so on and so forth. And a little bit about the program. The program brings together a bucket full of curriculum that covers marketing, strategy, finance, operations, and then teaches you how to structure your business with a business model that actually suits what you want to do with your customers and your community. What I'd like to say to you is when you do apply, please look for the application link on the seed.stanford.edu platform. And if you need any inquiries, you can call the number or WhatsApp 0540-115-118, and you'll reach someone who will speak to you for any clarification. So please do apply shortly on April 1st. Don't miss the deadline. And thank you for having me.
Thank you, Ellie. Thank you for the announcement. So this is where we draw the curtain. I'd like to say a big thank you to Georgette Barnes for coming. Beautiful lady in the mining sector who is breaking the bias. Felicia Chumasi, Home Foods, also busy breaking the biases. Hey. Jemima Nate, CEO, Happy Kids School, breaking the bias. Excellent. Stephanie from Type Company, thank you for coming. Excellent. Congratulations to all of you. And thank you to our listeners. Watch this space. There'll be more of such programs coming up. All right. Have a good week. Thank you. Bye.
Great values and attitudes that include ethics and commitment, critical thinking and practical reasoning, honesty, accountability and integrity, and of course, building a positive mindset. And all these things one can acquire if one attends the Stanford Seed Ethics and Critical Thinking Workshop. I invite you to come not only with your leaders, but also with your staff members. It is very important that this year we all succeed in our businesses. Welcome to this workshop.